Thanks for listening to Radio Taiwan International. You are listening to Geek Out with your host, Michelle Chang. That's me. Today in the studio, we're going to be talking about something that everybody needs, clothes and other accessories, right? Shopping. And right, with our guest today to talk about this is Natalie, our very own Natalie. Say hey.
Hi.
So right, our cup of tea today is going to be something, like I said, everybody requires. But not everybody has a huge scope on. Not everybody is aware of the huge range of places and prices, of course, and types of clothing and other accessories that we can shop for. So, Natalie.
Yes.
Yeah, we were just talking upstairs in the office. So one of your favorite hobbies, quote unquote?
Well, I mean, this is like what I do to relax as I go shopping. And I actually it's part of the job as well because I need to wear like new clothes, different clothes on air. People don't want to see me wearing the same old clothes every day.
Because Natalie, in case you guys aren't in the know, Natalie does Taiwan Insider, which is a video program. Go take a look. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, so people see you all the time, right?
Right. Yeah. So like, the first year and a half, we're wearing our own clothes and we're trying to be creative to like mix and match, but we're starting to repeat ourselves. Yeah. And even my boss was like, I saw that dress already. Can we give Natalie some new clothes? So we got this little budget that I can use to buy a few items or whatever I want to use for every month. So that's nice. So I do actually shop for part of my job. Mm-hmm. And of course, I like to shop. I think it's something that my mom and I did when I was growing up, just as for fun. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's so nice. So it's nostalgia also.
It is nostalgia. Unfortunately, I only have boys in my household now. Oh. They're not into it.
Not so much. Not unless you're buying
much.
like, I don't know, like sports shoes.
Right.
Tech stuff. So I guess, yeah. My mom and I never really shopped, but as a kid growing up, that was definitely the thing to do was socially, like me and a bunch of girlfriends.
Really?
Because I went to high school for several years here in Taiwan, Taipei. And specifically in Taipei, it's very easy for kids just to jump a cab and go to, some area that has a cluster of stores.
Where did you like to go in Taipei?
Oh, I guess as a high school, also we didn't have a huge budget. As a high schooler, we had our family allowance, right? So in Taipei, we would do like the silly night market, right? Or it's always one of my favorite shopping districts in Taipei is the alleys behind Sogo department store on Zhongxiao Donglu, right? Zhongxiao East Road. There is all of those alleys back there are full of little boutiques and tiny restaurants and things like that. So fun area. How about you? What are your? Yeah.
So I mean, I would say there's a really broad spectrum of different places you can go. Like if students like to go to places like Ximending, where there's actually pedestrian walks, you don't have to worry about traffic.
Oh, that is true, except for the occasional rogue scooter.
Right. So it's very comfortable to walk around. There are all kinds of stores there and a lot of low price points there. And also places near the universities, like near NTU or...
Almost always, I do see that there are little marketplaces that spring up around universities because, students.
Right, and they're cheaper, right? So if you're a student or if you're looking for a good deal, definitely go to the shopping neighborhoods near the big universities in Taipei. If you really want a good deal, you can go to the wholesale area, which is called... Wufanpu. So it's like a little bit north of, it's like Zhongxiao East Road 6.
You keep going.
Section 6.
Right, you keep going on that road if you're going by car.
And what it is like, well, you can't try anything on, but they sell at wholesale prices. So that's where, all the stores go to buy their clothes.
Yes.
And sometimes you get something really nice. Like I remember when I was pregnant, actually, because, you're only going to wear something for 4 months or something.
That's true.
And so I got a few items I really liked. They're kind of fashionable. They weren't like real high quality, texture or anything, but they looked nice. And, I knew I wasn't going to wear it for too long.
Right. So you're not looking for something that's going to last you years.
Right.
So might as well.
And it's really cheap.
Right.
I mean, you can get things for like, if we're talking about US dollars, $10 US, $20 US.
So listeners, if you guys are living in an area that might not have access to something like a wholesale district, let me kind of paint you a picture. You walk into this area and it's just stalls and stalls and stalls, almost with you can't drive a car down like the aisles between them. You can't even pilot a scooter. It just fits people. That's it. Like you kind of have to squeeze past each other, and there's piles and piles of clothes, and there's mannequins everywhere. It's pretty overwhelming, actually.
It is. It's overwhelming for the senses. I actually did go shopping there for for the video show as well, because I figured, wow, I can get really cheap stuff. I can buy a whole bunch.
Right. They're not like super close focused on your clothes, so it's all right.
Right.
If it's
so, I mean, I got things for like $200 or $300 NT, which is like $10 US. Yeah. But some of them didn't fit, actually. So I stopped doing that. Like I took it home. Oh, this one's like 2 sizes too big, and this one's too small. So if you go to a place like that, you kind of have to know what looks good on you, like what style.
You do have to know your own fitting, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able just to hold it near you and kind of know if it's going to fit.
And even then, I think even if you know yourself very well and your own style and stuff, you're going to lose sometimes.
That's true. I mean, I thought I knew myself well after all the shopping I've been doing all my life, but obviously not.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it doesn't turn out.
Right. Which makes me think about online shopping a lot. I have a lot of the time just, this is really cute in this picture, so I'm going to order it, and it's inexpensive. It arrives. It is really not what I expected.
So is it the quality of the fabric, or is it just it doesn't fit the way you expected?
Sometimes all of the above.
The color.
Right? It's because, how much can you judge by these photos? I'm always thoroughly entertained by those. I'm not sure if you've ever seen them, but people who will, put up the picture of the professional model picture of the item, and then they order it, and then they put it on themselves, and it is a hilarious difference. You ever seen those?
I think I have seen those. I mean, you can touch up photos, right?
Of course.
And you can color correct and make things look better than they are. So,
and of course, the piece of clothing that the model is wearing might not be exactly the same thing that they're selling, like the one that's shipping out.
Oh,
I feel like
I didn't
that's
think about
the
that
case.
either. So when you're on camera or on TV, the texture of the fabric doesn't have to be that great, actually,
right,
to look good.
Because you're not super up close.
You're not that close,
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've worn stuff on TV. I mean, sometimes you can tell, things look like they're more refined, but, for pictures. So in the same way, a picture, you can't really tell how good the fabric is.
That's
just
true.
Through the photo.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure anybody who's listening who has gone online shopping has probably received something that is very different than their expectations.
I know. That's why I don't like online shopping that much for clothes, because I have to try it on,
right,
basically.
And there's certain items of clothing that you do just never shop online, guys. For example, shoes. Shoes, please try them on.
I know. I was telling my son that, and he insisted, and it was the wrong size, So then you have to go to the trouble of returning it, which is a lot of trouble, I think.
It's a lot of trouble via
right?
online stores. And of course, then there's people who do stuff like, okay, so my husband is actually guilty of this. He really loves, a certain model of, basketball shoe. So he will go to the Nike store.
Oh, that makes sense. Try it on there.
Try it on there, right? Make sure it's the size make sure you know which size you need and what color you like. And then he'll buy it online.
And does it turn out to be the same thing?
He has been, usually, yes.
He should be, right?
He's usually happy. But there are people, we've actually received fake goods before.
Oh, yeah,
right? That also happens.
That's a big risk.
Especially with something that's going to cost, basketball shoes are pretty expensive.
Yeah, they are.
They're like $200 US. So yeah, I'm sure there's people who will, and because he tried the actual shoe on in the legit Nike store, he knows the actual quality of the shoe itself. The product that we received was an obvious fake.
So that's what you do for trying to get a bargain, right? I've actually bought bags on store, like handbags, online. And then it was like half the size I thought it was.
Oh, no.
And I still used a measuring tape when I was, figuring out if it's big enough.
Yeah.
And then it comes, it's so small, I can't fit anything in there. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
I'm pretty sure they lie. They lie.
I mean, they measure it from the way they measure it is totally different than the way I measured it. So I don't think I'm going to be buying too much online in terms of clothes.
But I feel like that's becoming the future of society, period.
It's very convenient.
It is.
It sure is.
It is. I mean, there's nothing that you can't buy online at this point. Pretty much everything. There's an app for that, right? You can get food. You can get, you could literally do grocery shopping and have it delivered to your house. So, what does this mean for the future of clothes shopping, clothes and accessories? It's going to be less fun, I think.
So I do have a point, Taiwan is a good place for really cheap clothes.
Yeah.
It's not a good place for luxury goods. It's much more expensive than if you buy them in like the United States or at an outlet.
I've always thought, well, Taiwan, first of all, has a lot of luxury brands here.
It does.
In almost every department store. And there's a lot of them. There's actually quite a few department stores in Taipei, especially. They all have a lot of the time it's repetitive, the same brands again and again, right? Like you'll see really high-end shops like, Chanel. But I've always wondered, like, are there that many people buying them here?
I think there are. Because I did go once. Once. And I was looking at like a wallet, and then the sales lady says, "Do you want it? If not, she's going to take it." I'm like, okay. Wow. I guess I don't want it that bad. Go ahead and take it,
So you actually had competition for the wallet.
Yeah. I mean, because they have a limited amount of, my dad wanted to buy me his very special gifts. So I was thinking of a Chanel wallet. And
they are timeless.
Yeah. And unfortunately, mine got stolen. So I'm not going to buy anything that expensive again that could get stolen. It was so sad.
No.
It got stolen in London.
Like,
it's like my most expensive wallet, and my dad gave it to me.
Oh no.
So yeah. Anyway, what was I going to say? There are a lot of people buying Chanel stuff in Taiwan, and they have a limited supply of everything.
Right.
So like if that wallet's gone here, probably there's no other one. So like
that's true.
So people go after it. People are really into name brands here.
Yes, they are. So I actually kind of want to talk about that. Like people, if you look around at, just pedestrians in any random area in Taipei, you're going to see designer handbags, especially. Sometimes other items, but designer handbags especially.
I think it's a mentality that Asians have that, this is like a status symbol or a way you treat yourself to something special. Whereas I don't see it as much, of course, all around the world, people will like luxury items, but they may not define their style with a brand name as much, I think. And
my dad actually calls them like LV scooter ladies because they haven't like a Louis Vuitton like handbag.
But they're riding a scooter.
They
can't afford a car.
Right.
Right? People spend maybe their whole salary on a bag and think it's worth it, right? Whereas I don't really do that. I don't agree to that. So it's just too expensive. I can't.
I do also feel that people who tend to do this are on the younger side. They're maybe just out of college in their 20s. They feel like they need that, luxury brand prestige.
It makes them feel good about themselves. Or it's a big present to themselves.
Right. But yes, I've noticed I did that a while ago. Like in my early 20s, I'm like, I need that bag. It's beautiful and makes me, feel nice about myself, right? But today I'm like, why would I spend like 30,000 NT dollars, it's $1,000 on a handbag when I could go on vacation?
Really? Or just buy one for $100, right?
Because it's really just, you throw stuff in it and then it gets beat around as you carry it about.
It doesn't last that long.
So...
And I think the markup here is higher because of, import taxes.
True. Import taxes.
So...
Right.
Yep.
It's
not a good place to buy luxury goods.
But when we travel outside of Taiwan, where would you... I mean, we did mention earlier in the office, outlets. Like when we're in the States.
I love outlets.
Right.
I don't have like a particular brand I'd have to go to, but I do like to go to the high-end department store outlets.
Yeah.
Because they have designer clothes.
Off Fifth, right?
Right. Off Fifth and Bloomingdale's. So they'll have some like really stylish stuff that's very affordable. It's maybe like $40 for a really stylish top. Whereas in Taiwan, the same thing would be like, $200.
Exactly. My favorite thing to see is the original price and what it's been slashed down
Right. It's
to.
usually like, only 20% of the original price. So, and in Taiwan, it would be even higher.
Yes.
So you'd add another 30% to that.
Right.
So I always feel like, wow, I'm getting a great deal. And a lot of times they don't have that style in Taiwan, right? So I feel like I'm, creating my own unique style as well. No one else is going to copy me.
Right. Sometimes, if you're digging around in the bargain bins shops like Off Fifth, right, you can find something that is really nice and perhaps no one else thought of styling before. It's all about whether you can pull it off, right?
Right.
And how you do that.
How you mix and match. So there are a lot of treasures to be found over there.
Yes. And Taiwan has recently, in the Taipei area, not quite in the Taipei area, outside of Taipei, Linkou, right?
They do have
Linkou
outlets here.
Just opened up the Mitsui Outlet Park.
Yeah, it's a nice outlet, but it's not that cheap.
It's not that cheap.
It's
I was
almost
going to
like
say.
just like a mall.
It's another mall.
It's like if you compare it to the U.S., it's like a mall. Like say you go to Under Armour and it'll be like this, the price that a U.S. store would have. But if you go to the Under Armour downtown, it's going to have an extra 20% because of taxes.
Right.
So that's basically what's happening.
Right. So shopping at, Mitsui Outlet Park, I feel like it's maybe 30% off, that kind of
Right.
thing.
It's a little cheaper than if you go to department stores.
Yeah.
But not cheaper than if you go to the States.
Indeed. Well, what I've actually commonly found here as a problem is sizing issues, though. If we are shopping more like at places like Uvenpu, the wholesale district, or at the night market, I am finding it's getting better. It is getting better. But anyone who is slightly on the larger side would have a lot of trouble finding clothing.
That's true. I mean, people are so small here. There was one store like in the Eastern District, and they only had a small. And I couldn't fit into it. And I'm like, you only have a small? And she's like, yeah, we only have a small. Like only super thin people can shop here. I'm like, all right.
Oh, that's
guess
so
I won't
snooty.
buy anything here.
Gross.
So, I mean, there are a lot of small women here.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
I think they should accommodate for all the different
should.
sizes, right?
At least stock like one
Or like-
item.
Right,
That's
at least
a little bit.
some mediums and some large, at least one large,
They
right?
only have a small. You guys can't see me, but I've been a little bit fluffy recently. So I've kind of been pigeonholed, forced into only the import brands like, Zara or
okay.
H&M, who do carry larger sizes. Thankfully, thank the gods. But yeah, I do feel like the average size in Taiwan is quite little.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is really little.
That's the one downside to shopping places like night markets.
That's true.
Yeah. So, question. Because both of us, we work in an office where, well, actually, Natalie is on video frequently. So clothing it matters. It matters. It is it's unfortunate that people still judge based on appearance. But it is the truth. And being on especially a TV program or a video program that deals with very serious topics occasionally, you do need to be taken seriously.
Right. You need to look like you're professional.
You do need to look professional. I agree, partly because I was born and raised in the U.S., that when attending things like weddings or job interviews, various occasions, you do need to look like you're a professional or you look like you're paying respect to the occasion. I found how do you feel about people in Taiwan and perhaps any cultural differences when it comes to that?
It seems pretty casual here.
It's so casual. It kind of
a
bothers
little
me
bit too
sometimes.
casual. I mean, if you look onto the oh my gosh, if you look onto the 104 job banks, have you ever been on there? That's where
To wander around, yeah.
Yeah, it's, the internet, people put up their resumes. And a lot of people, their pictures are they look like they're on vacation. They'll have a hat on, they'll have sunglasses on, they'll be making cute faces or even gestures. They're wearing like barely, spaghetti straps. I mean, it's not professional looking.
No. Okay, to explain.
Maybe they're attractive, but that's not what we're looking for,
No. 104 Job Bank is like LinkedIn a little bit.
Kind of,
Yes,
yeah.
it's the
Or
Taiwan
Indeed
version
or,
of it,
something, one of those places where you can just go online if you're an employer and look for people,
Potential hires.
and then you can contact them.
Right. So if you've got a picture of you in a spaghetti strap tank and on vacation, it's surprising. Like
there's a lot of that out there.
It's very interesting for me. I feel why if it doesn't it doesn't hurt that to put up a picture of you in maybe something that's a little more formal, then why wouldn't you? Because the potential employer could value that kind of
You know what? I think maybe they weren't taught this in college. Because there's so many people who do it. I mean, where did we learn this?
That's
did we learn this
true.
in college? I don't know. I mean, I think for me, it's common sense that you would wear something like a blouse, right? Or a suit or something.
Now that I'm thinking about it, as a child growing up, attending events like weddings, like my parents would make a big fuss out of me looking presentable. I have to go buy a new dress and you have to have your hair done this way or whatever to go to said wedding, right? So clothing or dress etiquette is quite important and kind of imprinted on people from a young age in places like the US. But in Taiwan, perhaps that's not the case.
I think there are a lot of people who don't know better. Right?
Interesting. Okay, ready? So, fun question for the last question. Do you have a favorite item of clothing or a bag or anything? Anything sentimental or lovely? I'm very sorry to hear about your wallet that you got,
Oh my gosh.
stolen.
Oh. I do have a jacket that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a what is it? It's like a leopard kind of looking blazer.
Oh yeah.
But it's very like low key, and it's very comfortable and warm.
Oh good.
And it makes me look thin even when I'm not thin, you know.
When you're having a cake day.
Yeah. So I love it. And it's very unique. I haven't seen it anywhere.
I don't remember seeing this.
I let them wear it last week on air, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty
dark,
dark, but I like the way it fits, and that it's just very unique and very comfortable.
Right. It also very versatile, I would
And
think.
versatile. You can wear like, you know, something, a lot of colors inside. So it's like black and copper kind of.
Absolutely.
Black and brown. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
I recently bought a coat that's my new favorite item. Well, you've seen it plenty, but it's like that. It's kind of a wool, shoulderless, looks like a little bit like a trench overcoat. Mm-hmm. But it's that light beige color, and I'm loving
matches
it.
Everything.
It matches everything.
I love that. I love that matches everything.
Yes.
Thing.
So, you know, being lazy is my thing these days. Is just throw on a pair of sneakers and a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. I put that over it, and it kind of polishes me up. Mm-hmm. Like a hoodie wouldn't do that.
Right. Sometimes the accessory, just having the right accessory on, it's a jacket or a scarf, and you just look so good.
Much more respectable. Right. Well, thank you for coming in, Natalie.
You're welcome. It was fun.
It was, so even something as simple as shopping is, I think, something that can be talked about in depth because everyone needs to do this.
That's right. It's practical, right?
Clothing is very important. And thanks, listeners, for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang, and we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Geek Out.